So in this video, we are going to look at how to pace for CrossFit WODs, how you can apply strategies to different workouts, and how you can go into things with a game plan so we aren't redlining within the first minute. You need to do a little bit of work between the ears during your training sessions before we then go into qualifier and workout conditions. There's no point in not using your training time to prepare properly for qualifiers and for workouts. So you need to spend time practicing, you need to spend time thinking about your workouts, not just going through them, going as hard as you can, and then not really reflecting on what you're doing. Whilst we don't want to be in a state where we are getting anxiety from a workout and we're overthinking it, we do also need to actually think about what we're doing and having a strategy. So rather than being on either side of that spectrum, we need to live in the middle of that. We need to live here, somewhere in between overanalyzing and not doing any analysis at all. The first one, understanding how long the WOD is going to take in total. So understanding your splits on machines, how long 10 reps of an exercise is going to take you, how long it's going to take you to move between to transition between exercises, and so on. And the more you train, the more you track, the more you track numbers, the more you're going to understand your own capacity, how long things are going to take for you as an individual. As coaches, we can normally gauge how long workouts are going to take based on kind of average data for athletes across different movements. But for you as an individual and understanding your own capacity and limiters, you need to understand how long certain things are going to take. So things like 20 calories on the rower, 20 toes to bar, 50 wall balls, as a rough guideline, how long are they going to take you? Fresh and with a little bit of fatigue. Do you know that you need to break up 50 wall balls into 2 or 3 sets? Understanding that as an athlete is going to give you a better awareness of your workout as a whole, and that's going to allow you to make a more well-informed strategy. So the more you practice as an athlete, the more information we get and the more we can extrapolate from those sessions, and that's going to give you a better strategy moving forward. Then we come into identifying your bottleneck. So this is where the workout is going to slow down. So it's going to be impacted by the skill level of the WOD. Is there a high skill movement in there? Or is it going to be where you as an individual are going to start to slow down a little bit because we've started to trip up on a movement or something there? Take this workout, for example, 80 calories on the row, 60 wall balls, 40 handstand push-ups, 20 ring muscle-ups. Most athletes are going to be fine on the 80 cal row and 60 wall balls, and the splits between them aren't going to be drastic. You're not going to be seeing like a 2-minute difference between one athlete and another because everyone will roughly be at the same kind of level. Then we get into the gymnastics, and this is where things are going to start to get different for people based on their ability. If they're a gymnastics ninja and they can fly through 40 handstand push-ups unbroken, that's not their bottleneck. If your handstand push-ups are weak and you know you need to be smart about how you break these up, this becomes your bottleneck. And you need to decide what you're going to do to get to this point. So identify your own, or where the workout's going to be and where the whole field is going to start to trip up. Say, for example, as mentioned, the handstand push-ups are the weakness. Then drop the pace before on the row and the wall balls so that you've got a little bit more energy, your shoulders are a little bit fresher, because that's going to be your weakness. There's no point in absolutely sending it and then getting to your weakness already in a compromised position. If we can rein it back a little bit on pacing and we can come up with a strategy to attack that weakness whilst we're not as blown up in the shoulders or gassed out, then we're going to be in a better position to perform that and work on that weakness. So the important thing there is going to be stay in your lane and understand your own unique weakness on that one. And then breaking it down. So we have a time to complete, we've got a bottleneck, we've got an area where it might get tricky. Now we want to start breaking it down and coming up with that strategy. So for me, personally, my handstand push-ups are going to be the weakness. So in that same workout, I'm looking at holding and not getting as fatigued on the first 2 parts, so that when I get to the handstand push-ups, I can break it into 5 reps every 30 seconds, probably 20 seconds now, but I know I can hold that because I'm not as fatigued from before, and they're small enough sets that my shoulders aren't going to blow up. Then understanding I'm probably going to have a fair bit of fatigue by the time I get to the ring muscle-ups, going in for quick singles or doubles, and again, not getting to that point of muscular fatigue. But I understand how long the whole workout is going to take me, I understand where my bottleneck is, and then coming up with a strategy to minimize that bottleneck and minimize that weakness is going to be the most important thing with that. Then having a little bit of flexibility. So don't be so rigid on the plan that you make before that you miss out on an opportunity to push forward, to gain a little bit of time to try and catch someone up. The best time to practice that and take risks is going to be during training. So are there sessions where you can perhaps practice going for bigger sets of wall balls or bigger sets of toes to bar under a little bit of fatigue and see if you can complete that? The time to do that is going to be in training, and understanding that there are times where you might not feel as good. Other times you might be like, yeah, my grip's fine, I can go for these bigger sets. That's the time where we perform this in training and we practice going for those bigger sets and holding on where we can. So those are the key points to kind of make from all of that, breaking it down, understanding your bottleneck, making sure we have a strategy based on you as an individual, staying in your own lane, and then having the flexibility to potentially push and take a little bit of risk because we've done it in training and we understand what our own strengths, weaknesses, and limits are.